you missed was me getting hit in the head with a big rock.
Hi.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I had a couple of nasty crashes.
Me too.
I went straight into a wall, cartwheeled.
I got hit in the head with a rock. You want to ride together?
Well, I'm just gonna... You're right, Mark.
Okay. I'll see you at Baja Pit.
Well, it gives some insight into why his nickname is Crazy T. Terrance Peregoodoff joining us. A man who is now in the history books, riding the Baja 1000 solo, finishing on the podium. He joins us now to talk about an insane
So do we just call you Crazy T, Terry? What do you want to be called?
You know, the Crazy T actually came up because it's my email address. And that came, I got my email address like when it was dial-up everywhere. Right. So they said, well, you need to have an address. I'm like, well, what's an email address? I was thinking like, well, it's Crazy Bob's House of Bargains or something. So okay, Crazy T.
There we go.
So tell us about the Baja 1000. First of all, what is it?
Baja 1000 is a race that's put on by SCORE, which is the sanctioning body. It's the world's longest point-to-point off-road race, and it travels. This year, it traversed the entire peninsula, so it was a peninsular run.
And most people choose to do this as a team effort because it's difficult, it's dangerous, it's a little bit crazy. You thought they were all just being wimps, so you decided to, what made you decide to do this by yourself?
It's the same reason that people climb Mount Everest.
Okay.
You know,
because it's there.
It was a personal challenge, and it had never been done before. So I planned for about 10 years that in 2010 that I was going to solo the 250, the 500, and 1,000 in the same year.
Now, does everybody do it on a motorcycle?
No, half of the field, about roughly 125 entrants are motorcycles, and about another 200 maybe cars, so on average there's about 300 entrants.
And are there different divisions that you're sort of competing with, like the motorcycles compete with motorcycles? And
that is correct. There'll be, there's a pro class, open pro.
Looks dangerous, man.
It is, that's all part of the excitement of doing it. This is rough and tumble Wild West racing. There's it's the Macho Man of Macho Man racing. These race courses, it's open roads, the public is on it. You know, Farmer Pedro could be delivering a bull to Farmer Jose on the same road that you're racing.
Let's talk about the booby traps and how the locals treat you guys. Maybe you can tell us, we've got some video footage, but maybe you can tell us what we're looking at.
Okay, this is just off the starting line in Ensenada. And right there where I'm going down now is not actually part of the race course.
But everybody was guiding you.
But everybody guided you.
Well, it's more fun to watch somebody you know, crash. And
so the locals point and say, here, go this way, Crazy.
Yes, go this way, and hopefully you'll have an accident. And if you do, they'll be the first ones there to help you up and get you going again.
But it's part of the fun. It's part of the fun of watching is see if you can get them to go off.
Oh,
the wrong
absolutely.
way.
And
so
those were relatively mild booby traps. That was just, you know, being sending us down a road that may be a little bit more exciting than, you know, the left-hand turn that we took on the flat there. But they can get pretty malicious.
So what, like when you say the course, I mean, do they give you a map at the beginning of each day and say, this is where you go? Or is it point A, point B, how you get there is kind of how you get there?
About 4 weeks before, say, the 1,000, you'll get a GPS file and a map. And that will tell you where the official course is. Some parts of it are not open to what's called pre-running, which would be early recognizance of the race course.
So you can't go and check it out.
You can't go and check it out until like the day before the race. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your bike that we've got here and the gear that you bring with you. Is there a GPS unit on the bike? I'm assuming that it's on there somewhere?
Yes, it's up on the left handlebar.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how fast do you go on this thing?
This is geared in kilometers to about 170 kilometers. For the 1,000, though, I had a self-imposed speed limit that I wasn't going to do anything more than 110, even though I could.
How hard was that to stick to?
Really difficult.
Yeah.
Really
when
difficult.
When someone rips by you want to be like...
I'm super competitive, and as soon as there's somebody that goes by, I want to go bar to bar with them, because I knew where I was fast. I had pre-run the whole course before, and then segments of it previously and through other races that had happened. And so I knew the race course really, really, really well, and I knew where I was going to be fast.
And we're looking at you racing again here.
Yeah, this is up towards an area called Coco's Corner.
What are you riding on? It looks like loose gravel.
Yeah, this is big rocks, and this is more sand. And now this is during the 250. We're coming towards the finish line here, and I now have just entered a no passing zone.
Okay.
And
So
you're going to find a competitor coming up on my right track. And then there's some dude right across the middle of the track. Yeah.
Wow. So how long did it
rules
take?
aren't really rules.
No, it's Mexico.
It's Mexico. As a matter of fact, because it's Mexico, I figured I should give you guys, these are official Mexico get out of jail free cards.
Oh, thank you. We might need these the next time we go to Cabo.
As the Mexicans call them, those are steakers.
Steakers.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to complete the race, and how do you feel after you get off your bike? Like, can you walk?
I could. It took me 6 minutes shy of 43 hours. So 42 hours, 54
And how many
minutes.
breaks did you take? Any or?
About every 50 miles, there was a pit where I was forced to take some time out, but I also took extra time. I had some unscheduled pit stops where my chase teams would meet me halfway between pit stops to do service on the bike, such as change.
How do you handle not sleeping?
You know, this is the first time that I had ever really pushed myself that hard. And the not sleeping became an issue only when I stopped. Riding the bike was fine.
Right, but you get off.
You get off, and all of a sudden you sit down and you start to eat a sandwich, and it's in slow motion, and every bite takes longer and longer. And then you don't want to get back on it. And I told my chase teams, it's like, if I'm taking too long, you got to force me to get
like
off.
actually pick me up and put me down. Now, part of the logistics of this is because you're doing it solo, I don't know, maybe tell us before we get to the equipment, like what can the chase team and support team actually help you with, and what are you responsible for yourself when you're doing this?
The chase teams are going to be responsible that if you have an issue, to get replacement gear to you. On one team, I had a mechanic. My primary chase team was my wife and my mechanic. My secondary chase teams were two of my friends that came from Whitehorse in the Yukon. And they drove all the way down to Baja, Mexico.
Quick commute.
Yeah, it was, like 15 minutes, And so they provided also the same assistance. They have mechanical experience, and they also had secondary pieces to the bike. I had a matching bike to that I had in my main
just
chase
in case
vehicle.
bike?
A parts bike?
A parts bike, yes.
And this is the about 30-pound backpack you would ride with?
This is what I call my Yoda. And, which was it, Empire Strikes Back? Return where Luke Skywalker trains with Yoda on his back? Yeah. Well, I train with this. It builds leg strength, but it has everything in it that you need to survive being alone in the desert.
I see a camelback, I see water, I see...
3 liters of water. There's usually emergency food like energy bars, protein bars, satellite phones, spare batteries for the GPS that's on the handlebars. When I wasn't running my tubeless system, there were inner tubes in there, tire changing spoons to be able to take it off.
So what's
tools.
Next?
Sleep. Look at him.
I don't know.
He's also a stuntman as well. Just
It's the Baja 250 is coming up in March, and I'm getting an itch. I want to go down and do it. I'm really, really tempted, but
Mike can be your Yoda.
Well, maybe this time you can do it in one of those Mad Max, the macked out trucks, and do it a different style this time.
I'm so in for that. Yeah, the trophy truck. I mean, these vehicles are upwards of $1 million. So
unbelievable.
That looks fun.
Yeah, and we're on the race course, the same course that these guys are on at the same time. Yeah.
You don't want to see one of those guys barreling down.
Well, Crazy T, good luck with whatever
Terry,
is
thanks,
next.
Man.
And